Okay. I didn't really have it open, but we're recording, so let's go with it. It's musicandmooncells.com, and it is, though Matt is here and I am here, it is not Chris and Matt's Wrestling Pod 2.0 this week. It is.
Wait, I prepared like 20 minutes about Dynamite last night. What are you talking about?
Oh, you mean 2 nights ago? Because this is, I mean, we're like a week past SummerSlam at this point, Matt. Almost.
See, you can't tell me a schedule. I'm not going to remember that stuff.
No.
SummerSlam was a wonderful time, and I'm so happy Cody won the title at the end of the night. Anyway,
Yeah, crazy how they shoehorn that in there, but I'm not going to complain. Yeah, right. If only. But no, this week I'm doing family stuff and all that kind of jazz, getting ready for a 3-year-old birthday party. So, in lieu of talking current wrestling, I thought it'd be fun. Matt and I have talked music a couple times on the channel. And I believe it was the last time we did was the Guns N' Roses episode, right? I think that was the last time we did music with you.
I believe so, yeah.
And so we're going to do something similar. So about almost 2 years ago now already, for the Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 anniversaries, we did I do what everyone does, and I stole from Chris Jericho, and we did we each created our own like ultimate version, 10 songs from, compiled of songs from each album to make one super album. And so this year marks the 10-year anniversary of the two 2020 Experience albums by Justin Timberlake. And that does not seem like it's been 10 years.
Not at all. Like I vividly remember like they called it Timber Week on Fallon because
Yes.
he performed a new song every night from the
Yes.
first album, and it was the first time you heard, well, I think at least three of the
Mm-hmm.
songs because they hadn't released anything else. A Suit and Tie was out, and
Yeah.
I think by that point, Mirrors had started to get pushed out, but it wasn't like an official single.
Right.
Um, and I remember being like excited to
Mm-hmm.
DVR Jimmy Fallon just to watch whatever Timberlake was going to do that week.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that as well. And it's funny, where I believe I was the first on the Timberlake bandwagon.
Openly, I, I,
Openly.
I was I was closet. I was very closeted about how I liked Timberlake.
If memory serves, there was a half drunken exclamation by me at the kitchen table in our apartment that Justin Timberlake was my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, you were. It wasn't half. You were full on. Like you were hammered.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to give myself a little bit of credit, but thanks.
No, no. Don't baby face yourself to me. I was there, sir. We were
Yes.
playing cards. You were drunk. Timberlake came on, and you were like, "Hey, it's my guilty pleasure."
Yeah. I mean, the Future Sex Love Songs or Love Sounds album was just off the charts great. Like at that point, like you just couldn't deny that the dude had talent and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like the My Love
Mm-hmm.
was always like a secret. Like, man, I really like this song, but I was 20 some years old, and it ain't rock music.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
If it
you
ain't
know,
rock, it's crap.
right?
Shout out D.
My
Snyder.
my how the how the world has turned
Yeah.
because now most rock is crap. So
Yeah. So yeah, but then he took a break from music, try and do the acting thing, and around from what little research I did, uh, around 2012, his manager was like, "Hey, think we should put out some music soon." And then like the next time, like JT like invited him out to dinner and was like, "Oh yeah, I just did a bunch of stuff in the studio with Timberland."
I mean, I know he went and did the acting thing. You're gonna sit here and tell me he didn't kill it in The Love Guru? I mean,
Oh yeah,
he
no,
was.
he was the best part of that movie.
Yeah, he was the best part of a couple movies he was in at that time. One of
Celine,
his
it
movies,
is my day of lucky. Yes, I
the
can
the
quote
movie
lines
where
from the
he's
Love
got.
Guru.
I mean, look, I know this is supposed to be about Timberlake's albums, but that movie got crapped on a little more than it probably should have.
I
But
agree. But anyways, yeah.
I always like the Timberlake movie where I think it's called In Time, where
Oh
like
yeah,
you have the.
with
I
Amanda
always thought
Seyfried,
like,
that's a good
yeah,
one.
it ended a little crappy, but the majority of the movie it had me hooked.
What was the one that wasn't he in one with The Rock? Southland Tales or something like that.
Oh, maybe one of those like straight to DVD ones back in the
No,
day or
yeah,
something.
it had a lot of buzz. Yeah, I don't
He
remember.
was he was in Bad Teacher. He did obviously he played a big part in The Social Network, and he killed that role.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he just went away. It wasn't like Jordan playing baseball.
No,
He
yeah.
went. He actually did some pretty good stuff, but he came
Mm-hmm.
back with a vengeance with this album.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, we in March he released part 1 of the 2020 experience, and then this part 2 came out in September. Now for me, again, I was swept up when the buzz when part 1 was getting to come out, watching every day on Fallon that week. I bought the album the day of, and then for some reason part 2 I didn't hit me for a few months after. Like I don't think I even like technically bought that one. I think I might have gotten a copy from Kyle. Um, but in late 2013, it had made a major change in my life, and let's just say part 2 got played a lot in my work car because I could relate.
Yeah, you said it. I think that's why the second album doesn't hit with me. It's which I totally I understand. Music it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to make you feel something, and it
Yeah.
puts you in a certain place and time. Having not been in that place myself, I was not as deep into it, but I certainly understand your connection to the album.
Yeah, yeah. And but to this day, like even though I'm in a much better place than I was then, I still go back to part 2 a lot more than I do part 1. I think for me, a lot of the songs on part 1 suffer from like him just going, well, yeah, let's just make this song as long as possible.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that make my list. I specifically am like, no, it's the radio edit. Like,
Oh, okay.
I can't deal with the 6 minutes of shoo boppy dee bop boo, and him basically like whisper talking into the microphone.
Like some of it's fine, but a lot of it is just like, yeah, that's not like he did some of that on Future Sex Love Sounds, but it was more truncated, and it seemed to help bridge from one song to the next more.
I agree.
Uh, but yeah, and it's on both albums here, but it's specifically on part 1. It's a lot more egregious.
Low key, like I think that's him trying to make a Prince album
Oh yeah,
because Prince is a major influence to him. Obviously, the genre in general, you can't really make this kind of music and not talk about the Prince. And I think this is his like, Prince will have those songs for the first 3 minutes are lyrical and a song, and then the back half is almost an entirely new song.
right.
Um, yeah, I feel like that and the over reliance on uh, I don't not the drum pad maybe, but the some of the beats that Timberland uses throughout this, it just feels like it almost sounds like the same beats over and over again, and it sounds like you're just hearing kind of the same songs over and over again. I feel like the second album is especially littered with that.
Yeah, yeah. There was a quote I saw. Um, Yeah. He says, while working on the album, Timberlake thought, if Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin can do 10-minute songs and Queen can do 10-minute songs, then why can't we? We'll figure out the radio edits later.
Because they're playing, a full band's worth of music,
Yeah.
and you are playing digital recordings of music, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although I did not know this. I didn't know he actually plays the guitar on Mirrors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And when when I saw that, I realized, at the concert, he picked up the guitar. When I saw him in concert, he picked it up a few times. I don't remember specific songs, but I remember thinking like, yeah, he can actually play, and he hops on keyboards and stuff like that. Like he's not just like, oh, I played in studio. When he's out in front of the crowd, like he shows he's a musician too. But
well, I think that was what finally sealed it for me becoming a fan of his was I saw a performance in an award show, and it must have been What Goes Around Comes Around, and he was playing a guitar on that acoustic guitar on that. So I'm like, oh, well, he's an actual musician, so I guess he's okay. Yeah. I still had he's just a boy bander who sings and dances at, but then I saw, oh, he plays guitar. Oh,
now it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he plays guitar on Drink You Away on part 2 as well. So yeah, he's got some. He's a musician,
in some sense,
right? But so how did you do 10 songs?
I did 10. I could not get to 11.
I did 10.
I could not find.
I could have went to 11. I did 10. Just in my mind, he should have been 10 on both, because that would have been 20 total songs.
Yeah.
But meh, what can you do? And we're just doing the standard editions. We're not doing the deluxe editions with the extra songs. So
yeah, I realized when I've never even heard the 2 songs on the part 2. I never went back and watched. Like when I played through them, I was like, oh, I've never heard this before.
Right. Right. The one from part 1, You Already Got It On or whatever.
Yeah.
That one's not bad. But
I didn't think any of them were bad. But again, it was like, it kind of sounds like a lot of the other stuff on the album. So like, I'm not super like interested in seeking it out. I'm very much like, once I get an album flow in my head, I don't like it disrupted. Mm-hmm. I hate when I like if I'll turn on Spotify like this is Prince station and it shuffles the songs. There's certain songs that once I hear, if the next song isn't what's on the album, it like messes with my head.
I made a tweet about this a few months ago because I was listening to a shuffle playlist, and there are certain songs that, especially even if you hear them on the radio, they play. So perfect example, Journey, Love and Touch and Squeezin' should always be followed by City of the Angels. Like, that's how, as soon as the last acapella lines of Love and Touch and Squeezin' ends, the opening acapella lines of City of the Angels should begin. And I'm sure that the technology exists. Like, it should be like programmed into these streaming services.
Right.
Eruption and You Really Got Me. Like, every time Eruption plays,
I was waiting for you to finish so I could like same thing.
Yeah.
It has to end and then you go like that's it. There's no other acceptable way for Eruption to finish.
Yes, and there's 2 songs in particular from part 2 that I definitely kept together because they go together like that. So I think how we'll do this is we'll kind of like volley back and forth with this. I'll have you go first with what you had as track 1 on yours, and then what we'll do is if I don't have it, we'll just go ahead and talk about it. But if I have it, it's just later in my album. We'll save it and talk about it later.
Okay, that works,
and so forth.
Sure. And look, much like our Guns N' Roses discussion, just like I was just saying, there's a certain way these albums start off and progress in my head. Push Your Love Girl is the rise at the start. It's like welcome to the show,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the perfect opener for me. It's my favorite Timberlake song.
Oh,
So like, there was no doubt in my mind that this is what was leading it off.
yeah,
And
I have it
the
too.
thing about this song that always kills me though, the only time I've seen Timberlake in person, the band messed it up and he stopped the song in the middle of it and made them restart. And it like I didn't get that experience of just seeing them play the song. So like I've always wanted to go see him again, just in hopes to hear this song performed live and played correctly.
Right. Yeah, I had it. I had it leading off my album as well. You're right. I when we talked the other day, I had said that I only had 2 songs from part 1. I did push it to 4, just for the interest of. I think it makes a better album.
Fairness.
Yeah, in the interest of fairness, and you know, yeah, and I was like, okay, between this and I was hem and hawing between this and give me what I don't know what I want from part 2. Both are good opening tracks, but I'm like, I kind of want to balance this out, and so yeah, we'll go with Pusher Love Girl. It's just a fun, double entendre about, conflating, sex with drugs.
Well, one, it's also like when you've met that person
Mm-hmm.
that like, and this is where I go with it. Like when you've met that person, like there's nothing higher than
Yes.
being with that person. Like
Yes.
no amount of booze that I drink or
Mm-hmm.
like anything else is gonna give me that feeling. And that's like whenever I hear that song, it's I think about all the great things I love about my wife.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully she
Absolutely.
heard that. She's in the other room and give me some brownie points.
All right. I'll go at number 2. Number 2, I just kept the train rolling, and I've got Suit and Tie at number 2.
Oh, okay.
Um, Again, I made it. I had to make a tough decision. Originally, I was going to put both Jay-Z features on here. I decided to only go with one, and if you're going to go with one, you got to go with Suit and Tie.
I don't like murder. I don't care for that song.
I like that song. I like Jay-Z's got the funniest. We've all heard the Yoko Ono jokes a million times. He's got the best one. Like,
Yeah, it's fine, but so I guess do you want me to talk about why I put suit and tie, or
yeah,
you want me to
yeah,
wait until
yeah.
I
No,
get it
no.
later? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have it later. We'll wait till later
yeah,
then. We'll wait till
sounds
later
good.
then. Go ahead with what you have at number 3.
I wanted to bring the vibes
Oh
back
wait,
up. So
actually, what do you have at number 2? Sorry.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring the vibes back up, because Pusher Love's a little bit of a slower start, and I go right to Let the Groove Get In.
Okay, I did not have
This
this on my album at all. So.
yeah, this is one of those that like I'll listen to specifically. I listen to this album a lot when I'm doing stuff in the kitchen. If I'm doing dishes or like cooking and stuff, and when that song comes on, it just kind of picks up my mood.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, feeling like starting off a little slow. Okay, now let's get into the Timberlake. That's kind of getting your feet moving, getting you feeling good, and not hitting you in the feels.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a good song. Maybe it's because I don't seek out the radio edits. Again, it's just like the end of the song is just way too long for
It
me.
drags. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So.
And I'm like I recognize some of the one I didn't do the radio edits for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
kept it with what's on the album, but that's my number 2, and then for my number 3, track 3, getting the mood up. Still, Take Back the Night. It's I only have 3 songs from the second album, and this was one of the only 2 that I was like, yeah, that will be on my best of, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I almost put this on there, but it was like the last cut. So
What I like about this song is it's a radio, like to me it's a Justin Timberlake radio song, which I know you're not supposed to like the poppy
whatever.
hit, but like this is just one of those ones that when the first time I heard it on the radio, I'm like, oh that I didn't say slaps because that's not what the kids said back then.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's something, I'm going to like this song. I hope the rest of the album's like this, and then not so much, but
I just feel like he did this song better a couple years later with Can't Stop the Feeling.
maybe, yeah, maybe, but that doesn't take away that I like this song.
Sure. For my number 3, I've got Spaceship Coupe. We're just rolling with the love to begin here. This is just pure sex, this song.
Yeah. Well, and I like the little, in the chorus, he's not rapping, but he's singing faster, and it's just like it's bringing you up and down through the song, like it's kind of got that rhythm, It's outstanding song. Love that song.
Yes, and this is one. So the reason why he called these albums the 2020 experience is because he said that when he was playing it for the music for some of his friends, they were like, well, this is like, these are songs that you can see in your head. Like you can see the visuals in your head. This song definitely in particular, like I can just see though you got to be careful if you're making love on the moon. Cause if you thrust too hard, like she can go gravity's,
I got nothing. I didn't see that comment. I got nothing for you. Not Bobby Heenan over here. I'm sorry. I don't got the one-liners.
All right. So then I guess I'll go to number 4 then. And I've got Cabaret, my first song from part 2. I love this song. I quote one of the Drake lines, or I used to quote one of the Drake lines to my wife before she was my wife all the time. One of the filthier ones.
Okay.
I think you know which one I'm talking about.
I'm not gonna ask now.
Okay.
I wonder where he's going. Oh,
okay.
Nope. Gotcha.
Okay. That's fine. I just love this song. I think this song is fantastic.
I'm not a fan.
That's fine. I love it.
And here's the thing, I don't dislike Drake. There's a lot of Drake stuff I like. When he comes on the song, it takes on a totally different tone to me, and it just messes with my head, and I just don't really, I don't know, it's just not I don't like that song.
And I love how halfway through his verse is when like the super heavy bass synth comes in, and that's the way the song finishes. Yeah, I've always liked that song a lot. It might be, no, it's not, but it's up there as far as like overall on out of these 2 albums as my favorite song.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would not have expected that. That's interesting.
So,
you got anything else about that?
I mean, come on. I got you saying Jesus so much as like we're laying in the manger. Come on. That's great.
Sure.
I'm all about that. That's some Paul Stanley lyrics right there.
If you heard that and thought Paul Stanley, that explains why you like that song so much.
Yes.
So I'm on 4, right?
Yes.
So I have Spaceship Coupe here.
Okay.
We talked about it. It's an outstanding song, and then I'm trying to slow it down a little bit here, but still keeping the love. It's That Girl.
Okay. Yeah.
That's another one where he's just singing about his lady.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be something about like this album in particular, like it's the parts where he's not afraid to share like how, because he's writing this about his wife.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were married at this point. I think they might have
not. So actually, no, they were not married yet. In fact, part 1 was supposed to come out sometime late in 2012, but they delayed it because they were getting married.
Okay.
So,
but like you can feel like he's talking about his relationship with Jessica Biel, and it's just from where he was a few albums before that, where it's all about I'm bringing sexy back. I look at I'm the god right now. Not that I ever felt like Justin Timberlake. No, friends of mine said that I invented sex appeal, but that's another story. Uh, Growing up myself, from being a younger person to then being a married man and being, in love with my wife, like this song just it hits me. It's
Right.
one of those ones that just sticks.
Yeah. No, totally. I get that. I get that a lot. Yeah. No, that's good. And that's like this is when like where you really get the sense that the Tennessee Kids were a thing because of the intro
Yeah,
to that song.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So for my number 5, obviously my number 4 is Cabaret. Number 5 has got to be TKO, and now we're things have taken a turn. And yeah, I love. This is probably my favorite song on the 2 albums. I love the main synth riff that goes through it. The bow 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 bow
Mm-hmm.
bow. Yeah, I love that song.
I thought this was going to be an automatic for
Mm-hmm.
my album, and then when I re-listened, it didn't even make my cut.
Wow. Okay.
And here's the thing: I don't think it's a bad song. It was just something like if I'm only getting 10, and
Mm-hmm.
even though the last one that I picked, I is not something I would listen to all the time. I would rather hear my last to make it more than TKO, and maybe it's because it's another radio single
Mm-hmm.
um, that I just for whatever reason just didn't stick with me. But it's a really good song. It's especially like it's a throwback to that '80s pop radio,
Mm-hmm.
and that's definitely something that like it's catchy. It gets stuck in your head, and
Well,
it just
yeah, and for me too, it's because I hold Future Sex Love Sounds in such high regard. This this song feels like a song that could have very easily have fit on that album
sure,
with the rest of
sure. I
that
wouldn't
stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if like he revealed that was like a holdover or something. The
Mm-hmm.
beat or something.
Right,
So
right, right, right. So, and then for 6, I've got Amnesia because I like that song. I think it's very no,
because I like that song.
I like that song.
That's why we're here, Chris.
Yes. It's got a very I don't know, it's very haunting in a way. The way he kind of talks about like the relationship and stuff like that going bad and everything. And then yeah, I think does this
It's kind of like you're hearing. It's kind of like you're hearing him in a third person view, looking down on himself, like the inner monologue of the third person, and not the guy on the ground.
and this is one of the rare ones where I actually like the second part of the song, like the the epilogue or whatever of the song
Mm-hmm.
more than the main song because he gets to show off his go up into his high falsetto and stuff like that during it. Um,
Sure.
so this is one of the rare times where that dynamic actually like really works for me as a song structure. So yeah, I like that one a lot, and that's why it's on my album.
Sure. Sure. So I'm at 6 myself, right?
Yes.
So I went with the radio edit version of "Not a Bad Thing."
Okay, I've got that later.
Okay, that's man, I just gonna get me just spewing about how much I love my wife, but
Mm-hmm.
the lines about being there for the first kiss, every kiss for the rest of you, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's we'll talk about it later, but there's another very famous song of his that is reflective of like a long term relationship and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be with this person, not just now but 60 years from now, and
Yeah.
that song just uh it's one of those that is on heavy rotation in my playlist no matter
Mm-hmm.
what no matter what I'm doing. If I'm taking a road trip, that's one of the ones that I'm going to make sure comes up at some point.
Yeah. Nice. All right, and what do you got for 7?
Suit and Tie.
Okay.
There's no way this wasn't making my
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
I just moved the spot. I remember when this came out, just like immediately being like, "Oh shit,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great song." Sometimes they have to grow on you, right? The first time I heard this, I was like, "No," and especially not knowing Jay-Z was coming in, that it's a new one by Justin Timberlake, and then Jay-Z just pops up and he
Mm-hmm.
spits an incredible verse. It really kind of to me defines Timberlake of the era, the confident swagger Timberlake, but also like just like, oh, I've made it and I know I'm the shit now, and look how I do. Like,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, this song is just like a button of that. Fantastic.
Yeah. The JT and Jay-Z partnership there for a couple years was like
Fire.
between these, these two songs on this, Magna Carta, Holy Grail, and then the tour they did that's the tour you saw, right?
Yeah.
So,
I tried to get you to go.
I know.
I had a ticket.
I know. I just couldn't swing it at that time. And then the next time he came around, it was for an awful album, so I decided not to.
Yeah, no way I was going to listen to Man and if you're playing 7 tracks of Man in the Woods, I'm out. Like, we're done. You play Sauce and that's it. Then you get back to the hits.
Yeah, right. So I've got for my number 7. Yeah, 7. I've got Only When I Walk Away. I just love the down. This he performed this one on SNL, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
That Christmas episode that him and Fallon are on together.
The really good Christmas episode.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why specifically that this song is always brings a fond memory to mind when I hear it, because I think of that SNL episode. And the way he performed that too, where it was just him, like surrounded by like lasers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, I always thought that was really cool.
Yep, I have this later on my album, so I'll wait till.
And then I've got Drink You Away. This great. I guess this was a crossover country hit for him.
Yeah.
Because he performed it with Chris Stapleton at the CMT Awards or something like that.
Yeah. So I have a theory that the success of this song and Only When I Walk Away are what made him go, I should make an entire album like this.
Right.
And completely ruin my credibility.
Fair. But yeah. Now the only thing that sleeps here is a ghost of you instead. I thought this is very, and it's not as, I don't know. This doesn't have the malice as some of the other breakups, like Only When I Walk Away has. Like, this is a very sincere, like, oh man, I'm really hurt by this type song.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's a really good song.
So I'm on 8, correct?
Yeah, you got 8 and 9.
Okay. So 8 and 9 are Drink You Away and Only When I Walk Away.
Okay.
So we're on, and I think 10 is going to be the same for both of us too.
Yeah.
If I'm
probably,
if I'm doing the math in my head right. Both of these songs, I've been very fortunate. I don't have like the personal like, but Only When I Walk Away is just like, you can just hear like that's the, or I'm sorry, Drink You Away is just that, your buddies going through it, sitting at the bar, throwing a few back, just trying to distract himself. Like, you don't have to have gone through it to understand like the pain that this dude's feeling and like just that struggle, right? And like you said, then in Only When I Walk Away, it's just like mean, like just like
F you and what you did to me. Yeah.
I'm furious over this. Yeah.
And all the games that you play. Yeah. So, all right. Then I'll go 9 and 10, and I'm like you said, I'm sure we've got the same number 10. So number 9, to bring it back around, back into a positive space. This is where I have Not a Bad Thing. It's not the radio edit because I think I need the F-bombs in there. But I do cut off the bonus track. I don't need the bonus track.
Okay.
But yeah,
that was probably the spirit of me saying the radio edit. Yeah. I don't need the last. I think it's at like 5:39 is when it kicks in or something.
I think that bonus track is the other song he performed on an SNL episode too, which was really weird.
I don't remember that. But...
It was either that or it was Drink You Away. I can't remember which, but I know it was a song that he played acoustic guitar on. So, but I'm almost, I'd have to go back and look it up. I'm almost positive it was that bonus track. But anyway.
Maybe I'll find it. I'm literally going to get off here and go look at that Jimmy Fallon SNL episode. Because the skit about the girls trying to sneak their boyfriends in to do it on their twin bed.
Yes.
We're going to do it on my twin bed. Yeah. I need to go watch that now. So.
Yeah. That episode's all about the Barry Gibb talk show to me.
Well, the entire episode is money.
Yeah.
Because they do the bring it on down to Christmasville or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I've been hearing this song a lot in Walmart. So, but yeah, and actually, and this kind of ties into the last song too. This is one of the when my wife and I were trying to figure out what our first dance was going to be to at our wedding. Like, this is one of the ones I'm like, how about this?
It's right there. Yeah.
And I didn't get that, but I got something else that's almost as good. So, and I guess we'll just talk about it. Number 10 is Mirrors, and so our walk after we now pronounce you husband and wife. You can kiss bride. As we're walking out, we walked out to an instrumental version of Mirrors, the instrumental track. So
I don't know that I caught that.
Yeah.
It's I remember the entrance more than anything else. Yeah. Sorry, it popped me great.
Oh, at the reception.
Yeah. That was so good it just sticks out. So like, I don't remember all the finer details. Yeah, Plus, I just been in a car accident. Like it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, my wife was very. She didn't want to do like the traditional like "Here Comes the Bride" when she walked in, or the traditional wedding music that you usually play at the end of weddings. She wanted to find something else. So I was like, well, if we can't do the JT song for our first dance, how about this for when we leave the ceremony? And she agreed to it. So yeah, that's what played when we walked out at the end of the wedding. So this is just
I wish I would have caught it. This song this is the I know Can't Stop the Feeling is probably his most popular song. To me, this is his best song. Like his biggest, like, this is the song that you're going to remember him for. Not that it's at the level of
everywhere.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Not that it's better or close to Purple Rain. Let me be clear. But this is the Timberlake, like, it's the iconic song. Men love it, women love it. Like it's a beautiful track.
It is. It's very, very beautiful. Yeah, it's pretty much says it all if you're, in one of those long relationships that's going strong and healthy.
Do you know who this song is about?
It's about his grandparents, right?
Yeah. He wrote it. He was trying to figure out, if I remember the story correctly, he was trying to figure out, I guess his grandparents had been married for a really long time. And like, as he was preparing to say he's going to spend the rest of his life with this woman, he's like, well, what makes them work? What do I want in our relationship to be like there? And he realized that they're just the reflection of each other.
Yeah.
They're where there's one, there's the other. There is no major difference in terms of who they are as people and when I heard it like that, I made me like the song even more. I know a lot of people thought it was a really vain, like, oh, we're the the it couple and we're
Mm-hmm.
the most beautiful people and blah blah. They took it as like vanity instead of
Right.
like a reflection of what he's hoping this is,
Yeah.
or what he feels like this could be.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Yeah. This is a great song. I love just the from the opening, the guitars and the opening, just all the way through, and then again, like cut it off right at the end.
See, I like the you are I like that part. I wish they would have just like brought all of the bonus stuff together a little sooner, if that makes sense. There's like
Yeah.
dead air there and a little repetition. You could have shortened it down a little, but I like the end. Uh, Going back to the main part of the song itself, what I like too is he could have very easily tried to do like the falsettos and like sing his heart out on that stuff, but he stayed in a pretty even range the whole time, and let the music kind of bring you up and down instead of his voice, trying to ride his voice through it.
Yeah, he gets up there in the falsetto on the last chorus or two, but yeah, for the most
Sure.
part, it's just straight, um, straight through, and the yeah, it's a phenomenal song. So it had to be. That was the number one. Like, okay, this is on here. What else?
Yeah, that's I knew my start and my finish immediately, and I knew probably six other songs. And 9 and 10 were going to be tough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, TKO was right there. Um, Strawberry Bubblegum was close.
Yeah, I let me see
Uh,
here. I had like I said, let me see. Give me what I don't know I want was a close one, and Murder was a close one, and yeah, Strawberry Bubblegum was another close one as well. So, but it was pretty. I went through and wrote down the ones that were a maybe with a question mark, and then underlined the ones that were a definite, and then I'm like, okay, I got this many definites, this many question marks. What are we taking out? What's staying, what's going, and then it was putting it in the order. That was the hard part.
sure.
Unlike the
All
Guns
right.
N' Roses one, like that was pretty easy to rearrange. You know, I'm like, oh, this makes a good opening song. Blah blah blah. This
No,
was a lot
that's a
harder
Limp
because
Bizkit song.
these songs are so memory hold in the places in the album where they are. Like, so that's why it was hard. To have, if you're gonna have Push a Love Girl, it's hard to have Give Me What I Don't Know I Want, because they're both such good opening songs that neither of them fit in a different spot really.
Where they're, yeah, exactly.
So you got to
The
pick one.
what's funny about what we were talking about mirrors being it. There's Blue Ocean Floor is after mirrors. I never listen to that
Oh yeah,
song.
that's an automatic
I
skip.
skip it. I skip it. It for one, it might be the worst song on the two albums.
That and
Like
True Blood.
they're like I agree there. Just an awful song, and it's so perfect because once you hear the end of mirrors, look, okay, just go. Like and the app always starts something new right after that. So
Mm-hmm.
uh uh can I pitch a bonus uh
Sure. Go ahead.
thing to you here?
Yeah.
If you can take three songs from any of the other albums and make them the deluxe edition Japan release, what three songs are you taking?
From any other JT album? Oh boy. Well, I'm definitely taking My Love. I'm definitely taking Cry Me a River, and I'm definitely taking. I guess I gotta go with Sexy Back. You have to go with Sexy Back.
I see. I'm
No,
going.
no. I'm going Summer Love.
Oh shit! I forgot about that because I was gonna say can't stop this feeling because you know what? No, that song it's can't stop this feeling. Yeah, Summer Love and Crimea River.
Yeah.
I gotta have the you wretched woman, like
Yeah, it's. I
you
mean,
did
I
him
guess
wrong.
it's is it okay to like that song anymore? I can't keep track, but I don't care. It's the song itself is just it's a great song. Like, I'm sorry.
Look, not to get into the politics of the matter and stuff, but there's a certain female artist that is touring stadiums around the country, writing $100,000 checks to her truck drivers, making money hand over fist, writing songs about how her exes did her dirty. All right, I don't want to hear that he's not allowed to write that because it's misogynistic. Is he? Does he have a troublesome involvement in some of this? Absolutely, he absolutely does. But she did him wrong, and
Yeah.
he poured his heart out.
Yeah.
And you know what? Never mind.
Never mind. We'll stop it there before we get ourselves in trouble. Yeah, I think those are the three. Those are the three. I could have picked all three from Future Sex Love Sounds though.
You could pick 5 or 6 more because there are a couple tracks on Man in the like I really love Sauce on Man in the Woods. Like I love that swagger. Like
I don't know.
I just like.
I think I know the only songs I know is the song of Chris Stapleton and
That song sucks.
Was it Say Something?
Yeah, say something. Say.
And then what was the first single off that album? I can't think of the name. Filthy or Dirty or
yeah, filthy.
Yeah. And I'm like,
yeah, I that didn't connect.
I wanted to like it. I'm like, okay, like
it was like a bad Missy Elliott track.
I'm like, all right, we got new JT, cool. I can deal. Like, it's not my favorite, but it'll work. And then I bought the album, and I'm like,
this sucks.
This is not good.
Yeah, I mean, because you can. Senorita, I love Senorita.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sexy Back is up
Mm-hmm.
there. Absolutely. There's 3 or 4 songs you could pull off of the second album, like
Mm-hmm.
no question. Dude was on a run. You know, they say there's that theory that like great artists have a 3 album run in them, and that's kind of where the bulk of their genius comes from. Like his 3, this whole thing, it's hard to top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
In our lifetime, you know,
Mm-hmm.
our parents, they're always gonna, you know, they experienced it completely different.
Right.
Era of fandom and access and all that. So
right. All right. I think that's it. Oh, I didn't bring it up when we talked about the song, but the director for the music video for Suit and Tie is David Fincher, the aforementioned director of
Social Network.
So,
I did not know that.
Yeah. I just read
Fun
that
fact.
like an hour before we started recording. So,
well, look at you doing research, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So yeah, go listen to these albums if you haven't before, or even if it's been a while. Go check them out because they're good. Not like I said, not peak JT for me, but they're both really just shy of peak JT.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It felt like the release of those albums just felt like a big deal.
Yes,
and he delivered. You know, it like he could have just released like a really bad album. You know, or maybe maybe not a terrible one, but only half of these songs hit or something like that. But he hit them both out of the park. They're both fantastic albums. There haven't been a lot of people like him since.
No.
Bruno's about the only one that comes to mind. I think he surpassed Timberlake, but
only because he's been more active. Like,
I think his stuff is better too.
Well, that too. But yeah, he doesn't have a Man of the Woods in his catalog. Oh God, I just release something else, JT, please.
I think it's coming. There's been talk that he He was in the booth. He was featured on a single earlier this year. He's made mention of coming back,
I
but
saw a quote from, or yeah, I saw something where Timberland said that, and this is like the famous last words because this is like every Kiss album that they released after Destroyer was like, this is the next Destroyer. But Timberland said something to the effect of they're working on something that's like Future Sex Love Sounds Part 2.
yeah, and there's if you've seen the trailer for the new Trolls movie,
I have not.
it's boy band themed. Timberlake is in it, and he's reuniting with his brothers. There's 5 of them. Well, 4 brothers and Timberlake's character. The characters in the movie look like the NSYNC guys. They're singing Backstreet Boys songs. There's been a lot of background talk for the last few months about the two coming back together. There's a theory that this movie is going to come out. NSYNC is going to have a new single in the movie because then it makes everyone want to go see the damn movie. And then Timberlake's going to have a solo release to go with it. It's going to be Justin Timberlake, NSYNC, and Backstreet Boys as the world tour. And if that happens, Holly and I have already been like, well, one of the kids doesn't need to go to college.
Yeah.
Because we're whatever the cost, we're going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a great time.
I mean, in an era where like these stadium shows, and now we're completely off the rails.
Yeah,
you can stop, is it? In an era where these stadium shows are becoming like big deals and artists are charging hundreds of dollars to sit at the top of Ford Field, I realistically, like if that tour gets announced, what's going to top it? When you look at the generations that's going to cover, the demographics of income that are going to want to pay whatever for it, the demand of 20 plus years of they never did anything together, and now they're not only doing stuff together, it's all in one show. Like it would blow box office records away.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it just feels like if it like the pieces are coming together. It'd be so cool if that happened.
I mean, it could conceivably be Taylor Swift level where they're doing multiple nights at a stadium.
Right. Oh, easily. I think easily that would be the case. It could be one of the old '90s world tours where they're on tour for 2.5 years, and like, yeah, the first round they're hitting Detroit and Chicago, but the next round is like, oh, we're gonna go to Grand Rapids, and then we're gonna hit Toledo. Like, it could be one of those types of, they could sell hundreds of billions of dollars in tickets possibly.
Yeah. Cardona would follow that thing around like it's the Grateful Dead.
Would be awesome too, especially if he just like documented the journeys and stuff. Oh man! And then there could be a campaign to get Hosky played on the stage.
Brilliant.
See, we got some wrestling talk in.
Yeah, there we go. We brought it back around. All right. Cool. All right. So, yeah, musicandmoodsalts.com. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up on this video. We'll be back next week with Chris Mass Wrestling Pod 2.0. Getting caught up on a couple weeks of wrestling. Hopefully nothing big happens between now and then. And if it does, too bad. We'll talk about it then.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon could be in jail by the time we're back on air.
Yeah, could be. Who knows? We'll see. If he is, I'm sure we'll talk about it. Until then, see ya.